Coming to yours with some Advanced Warfare gameplay. In this video, we're not going to be talking about Advanced Warfare at all because I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of 2014, and that is X-Men Days of Future Past. So, if you guys didn't know, X-Men Days of Future Past is set in a futuristic era where the X-Men are being hunted by Sentinels, which are created by Trask, who was killed 50 years ago by Mystique, who was then captured and tested for the improvement of the Sentinels so that the Sentinels can adapt to the X-Men abilities and basically fight off a war that's 50 years in the future, and the X-Men need to go back 50 years in the past to stop Mystique from doing it. If that didn't confuse you the heck out, congratulations, man. That was fantastic. You actually understood that. But basically what happens is the X-Men need to go back in time because their future is doomed. They know they're going to die. The Sentinels are way too OP. And they need to go back in time to stop them from being created by Mystique, who kills Trask. So basically they need to stop Mystique from killing Trask. That's the whole idea of the movie. So that she doesn't get captured and yada yada yada. So they wanted to send Charles Xavier back, of course, but they can't send him back because he can't do it. Because this toll that happens when you get sent back in time, or rather your consciousness gets sent back in time, it's too overbearing. And even though Charles has the best brain in the human population, pretty much, he can't go back in time because it's too much. Whereas Wolverine can sort of adapt to his environments and he can heal himself. So they send Wolverine back in time. And man, this guy is not qualified for the job, man. He's arrogant. He you know of Wolverine. He's arrogant. He's mad and stuff like that. But I think it's fantastic that they sent him back because it really does. It's the story element. If they sent Charles back, this would be an easy movie to make. Because I mean, rather a hard movie to make because it wouldn't have any real plot going on. It would be an easy movie. So I really like the fact that that Wolverine was sent back in time. That they had to do something that was sort of unheard of. They didn't really trust him, but I mean, it was the last option they had. So this movie, clearly, as you can see, since he's not qualified, it goes through a really nice tale of sort of mixing together the good stuff that Marvel does. And the good stuff that Marvel does is when you can sit down and watch this movie and have a good time. This movie is fantastic for that. It's like all other movies, Marvel movies that are being made. And a quick note on Marvel movies, I won't say that Marvel makes good movies all the time. Like, if you think about it, if you look at movies like the Thor franchise or the Captain America franchise, the first Captain America, the second one was actually really good. The first Captain America, the Thor franchise, a couple of the Iron Man movies, the new Spider-Man movies, which are technically not Marvel movies since Spider-Man's owned by Sony now, but it's I will call them Marvel movies. If you look at some of those movies, they're not that great. Like, okay, they're good. You know, they do a good job capturing the cinematic universe of Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Spider-Man, whoever it may be. But they're not really good movies. And so I didn't expect too much going to X-Men. I mean, I saw a couple of X-Men movies in the past. I wasn't a huge fan of them, and because I mean, the movies I saw were like X-Men Origins, Wolverine, and First Class, which I really liked. But then, of course, they had the contrast of having good and bad movies. So I wasn't like the biggest fan of them. I didn't really know all the X-Men movies, or I didn't really know all the characters or anything like that. So coming into this movie was a bit like a pretty big surprise of how good of a movie it was. And it was a bit more of a surprise because Marvel isn't really known on making all the time fantastic movies. Like, I think some of their best movies were probably Spider-Man 2, Avengers, and probably the first Iron Man was really good, Captain America 2 was really good, and probably like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say is Marvel does not make 100% all the time 10 out of 10 movies. They make they make at least good quality movies a lot of the time, but they're not all fantastic. So this was a nice, pleasant surprise that I got seeing this movie. And of course I have to talk about the direction and the acting and all that. So the acting is all top notch. I mean, you have standouts like Hugh Jackman and James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as, like, you know, basically the main characters of the movie, yeah. But of course the supporting actors and actresses are all fantastic. Jennifer Lawrence is fantastic as Mystique. I mean, she's Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's probably the #1 actress of this era, of the 2010s, and I think people can agree with me on that part. Pretty much everyone else is fantastic in their role too. Soundtrack is sort of the iconic X-Men soundtrack, so it's good for some people to sort of, you know, walk in the movie and hear that soundtrack. That's what a lot of people told me. They were like, oh, the soundtrack was really iconic. Of course, you know, their directing is fantastic. Special effects were fantastic. Man, Quicksilver with his special effects were amazing. There's a scene with Quicksilver in this movie that I think kills the rest of the movies for 2014. I think it's by far the best action scene of 2014. So that's pretty epic. basically what I want to say about this movie is it's a fantastic movie. I think it's my favorite action movie of 2014. Uh, I don't think it's gonna win any Oscars just because of the way I know Oscar movies and Oscar sort of the Academy Awards movies. They don't really award action-based movies. They award movies that are like drama movies that are surprisingly like realistic, like too realistic. The fact that not Batman realistic, but realistic in the fact that this actually happened. That these are actually groups of people who can actually make a change in our society without doing anything too crazy or something like that. So those kinds of movies are being the ones that are being rewarded. I'm sure you guys know this. Like if you look at the movie roster from last year, Star Trek Into Darkness wasn't really nominated for best movie. Yet some other like more drama movies were. So I'm not gonna say that Star Trek in Darkness was the best movie of 2013, but you get the sort of idea of it. Like it was a good movie, but it's not gonna get nominated for an Oscar. That's the sort of movie that this is. It's a fantastic movie. It's a much better above average. Like I said in my Interstellar review, it's a 10 out of 10 movie, but I don't think it's gonna get Oscar nominated. So with that, I think because it's the holidays, I think you guys should go out and see it. And by the way, Merry Christmas, guys! Christmas is just in a couple of days here. I'm sure you guys are with families or having or celebrating in some sort of way, whether it be Christmas or Hanukkah or Kwanzaa or whatever you celebrate. Have a good, safe holidays. And if I don't see you, then I may or may not be alive. So see you guys later. Bye. Oh! I gotta do the YouTube money stuff. So, guys, please subscribe to my channel and like the video if you liked it, and check out my previous videos if you want to see more, because I need that YouTube money. Like, I gotta make this money so I can like survive. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, see you guys. Bye.